Hello everyone out there and welcome back to the Python series. We are talking about the dictionaries, but why do we have the dictionaries first of all in the Python? Now we have seen that we have got some data type which are changeable, some data types are not changeable, but this also serves the purpose of the dictionary. What's the new thing and why is the requirement of the dictionary? Now you might have noticed from the very first movie about the tuples and the list that we have the multiple data types being allowed, like we can have integer, we can have string, but one thing we have been restricted so far is the indexing. Always and always the indexing gets started from the 0 and we are not allowed to change that. In fact, let's say I want to have an indexing from A, B, C and so on based, I cannot do that. Let's say I want to have an indexing for all the programming language with their extension, like C programming should have a .c, C++ should have a .cpp and so on. I cannot do that. Now, a good thing to do so is having a flexible indexing, and having a flexible value is a dictionary. Now, dictionary is quite useful in the Python, and let me show you what the syntax is and what are the flexibility options. A dictionary always starts with the curly braces and of course ends with the curly braces, and you should have a comma separated values. So I'll call this as a 1 value and this is separated by comma. Again, this is going to be the entire 1, and this 1 value is being built up by 2 colon separated values. This is the colon and this is the separation between the 2 values. The first part is known as the key and the second part is known as the value. So you can assume this as simply for understanding purposes that this is something known as indexing, or the keys rather, to be perfect in the vocabulary. And this used to be 0 and this used to be 1, 2 and so on. But right now we are having a full flexibility to name our keys as well as value with anything. Like in the line number 6, you can see I'm having a key with string type and having a value of integer type. Again, in the line number 7, this has been reversed. Now the key is 2 and the value is 2. So quite a lot of flexibility that we have. Now accessing the dictionary is again really simple. And if I want to access any particular value in the dictionary, I can simply name out the dict1 and I would have to put a square brackets. Now I need to make sure that I can access, I type on the key perfectly. Like in this case, if I type C programming, now I can access the value from the C programming. If I run this, it gives me .c, but you cannot do something like this. I want to access key from the value. Now this is not at all allowed. If I run this, it is going to prompt me an error. And yes, we have other ways, like we can have .keys method, .values method, but let's not jump onto that. We have a separate movie for that about so on and so forth. But notice one strange thing out here. If I have a C++, I save that and run that. Notice that it says .cpp mistyped, and you might have already got the guess that what we are about to do. Now we are about to update the existing dictionary, so it will allow us how to add the values in the dictionary. So how I can do that? And this is really simple. I need to make sure that I say dict1, accessing the key, whatever the key I want to access. Make sure that you type it correctly. One slight mistake can create a lot of trouble because I'm having a space and case sensitivity in the keys. And then I say is equal and I can update it to anything. Like in this case, I would like to update with the .cpp. A good thing would be to simply print out the dictionary. So I'll say dict1, save that and run that. And you can see I have got all the values. .cpp is out here, which is quite good. And this is what I want. I can also copy this line, press a Command C and a Command V, save that and run that so that I can see just the only one value, that is .cpp. Okay, so far we have updated the value, the existing value, but what about creating a new value? Again, creating a new value is as simple as it sounds. If I just print it down and I simply I'll clean this out and I'll say I want to add a new value for Ruby, which is not existing. So adding a value for Ruby is really simple. Let's say that's it. Oops, I really make sure that it's only one dot. Okay, good so far. Now we are going to print the dictionary. So let me just hit the run button and we have that. Let me just scroll it a bit, and you can see at the end Ruby is equals to .rb. Now one thing, we have only added the Ruby at the end of the value. So does it really matter? Not at all, because in the dictionary you are not having a sequential data. You can access any data using the key. So it doesn't really make sense that if the Ruby goes at the end or at the first or at middle point somewhere. So because accessing way is only one, you can access only via the keys. Again, we have got varieties of options with the dictionary. And in case if you want to delete anything, there is again a keyword known as del. I'm not going to do that. I'll simply keep that up to you. I think you can do that. I'm pretty much sure. Now there are again various methods, like there is a .clear, and there are some other things you can do in built functionality, like you can find out the length, you can find out what is the keys, what are the values, what are the items, and quite a lot of things. But right now it was a simplest possible introduction for the dictionaries in the Python. I hope you got it. Now when we will talk about the conditionals, you will realize that we don't have the switch and case in the Python, but with the help of this dictionary we can get rid of that. We don't need the switch case because we already have the dictionaries. But let's that talk to be at a later point of time. Right now you have understood what is the dictionary, why it is out there, and how to use it.